Hi, this is vlog 32 of me trying to squat double body weight inside 12 months of starting back from lockdown last year. Um, so this is week two of the front squat program, the change it from last year's back squat program. Um, yeah, last week was a bit of a tough week. Just seemed to lack energy a little bit towards the back end of the week. Started off okay, and then kind of tailed off. So really struggled to get through the gym sessions last week. Not too bad this week. The same old story of some good nights, some better nights, and not so good nights, and obviously that has a fluctuation of energy levels on a given day. But yeah, not too bad. Bit of a recurrence of the hip flexor issue that I had just before Christmas. That's kind of been a bit of a limiting factor on squatting, but it's not too bad. Just a bit of a niggle. Just kind of means I'm not at quite 100% as well I like to be. Body mass is slightly coming down. Not something I can kind of shout about yet, but yeah, it's not going up anymore. So that's the good news, but not coming down quite as rapidly as I would like to have thought it might do. But it is on the way down, so that's the main thing. The focus of today really is I want to talk about a concept called auto-regulation. It's a concept that's been around for quite some time in strength and conditioning and resistance training, but it's certainly become a lot more popular as technology and data becomes much more readily available. And it's something that I'm trying to use myself, and it's particularly when I'm your own coach. If I'm coaching somebody else, I'm responsible for their decisions when they're training, or certainly it's a joint conversation. I'm part of that decision making process. But when I'm responsible for every decision I make as part of my own training, and I've got a goal to achieve, um, you're at your own kind of beck and call, your own mercy. And for some people, they are naturally default to killing themselves in the gym and just literally burying themselves. And if they're not overtrained every day, they are unhappy. And I'm probably the other end of the scale. I probably don't push myself as much as I could. Whether I should or not is another matter. But I probably kind of will undertrain rather than overtrain to my natural devices. And one of the kind of the reasons for the vlog and the training program is to keep myself out of that kind of default of the less is more kind of approach. Because I'll probably say on the less is less kind of side of things rather than less is more. So auto-regulation is a way of kind of putting the decision into the data rather than into your own perceptions. And it's come from manipulating the load based on how well you did or what happened in a given set. And I've kind of done that, and I've tethered into that, the wellness side of things as well, or the daily readiness side of things as well. So basically, what we'd say is you do a set, and you then assess that set and look at it and go, right, could I have done, how many more reps of that set could I have done? How hard was that? And how fast did I move the bar? And any one of those two things, either those subjective or objective methods, can be used to say, right, that's where I should be, and therefore stay the same. That was harder than I think it should have been, and I make some adjustments, or that was easier than I think it should have been, and I make some adjustments. So what then we move on to do is this. There's a really good kind of review paper from Greg and colleagues about auto-regulation. It's like a three kind of step process, and it kind of follows kind of what I'd be doing as well. So you measure the movement velocity. If that doesn't correspond to the value for the desired percentages that I want to be working at, so if I want to work in absolute near maximal strength, it should be in the kind of 0.2 to 0.35 kind of range. If it's 0.4, I'm moving too fast, and therefore I need to adapt. So my individual load velocity profile for that day is different, and I need to make some adjustment to that. Equally, if I should be working at, I don't know, 0.5 to 0.6 and it's 0.35, 0.4, again, it's gone the other way. I'm not as strong as I have been in previous days, and I make some adjustments there. So that's how you might use it on velocity. So if you're moving too slow or moving too fast, you adjust the weight down or adjust the weight up as you need to. What I've tend to do with my auto-regulation is use volume rather than intensity. So intensity stays the same. I'm going to use the same percentage of load, which I kind of did a couple of episodes back. If you want to go back and have a look at that, but I'll manipulate volume. So I think intensity is the key to adaptation. So I don't want to kind of play around with intensity. It's just how much of that intensity I can tolerate. So if I'm down on where I should be, I'm finding it too hard, or sorry, harder than it should be, I'll default back to the 5-3-1-3-5 format. So what I plan to do in my program is go 5-3-1-3-5 in the repetitions per for the 5 sets, and then go to 5-3-2, 5-4-3, all the way through to 5-5s. But that's only if I've adapted to that, and if the data, the numbers are saying that I'm capable of doing that. So rather than just going through it blindly, here is a prescribed black and white plan that you are going to do. Here's the words, here's the loads, and here's the reps you will do no matter what. Or having a preset plan of this must be the percentage of RM, which was done weeks ago. It doesn't really kind of reflect how your body changes on a daily basis. Like on any given day, your body can increase or decrease in strength. And as I've kind of spoken about over the last few weeks, my sleep patterns will have a huge bearing on my ability to squat that particular day. How tight my hips feel as well. Obviously, poor sleep, you don't recover quite so well, and you kind of that hip flexor kind of flares up more than it might do. So all those things have to be born into it. But what I would typically do is say, "Oh, I don't feel like it today. I'll do it a little bit and then kind of not bother, or not bother at all." Or so what I've tried to say is like, okay, let's go through this process, and the minimum I'll do is the 5-3-1-3-5 on the front squats. At that load. So I'm not going to play around the load. I'm not going to go a lot below than that volume. And I haven't ever not been able to do that. It's just I've got to go through, earn the right to progress. And part of earning that right to progress is A, getting the work done, B, adapting to that work. And I've got to therefore let the adaptation take place. And sometimes that'll take place faster, and sometimes that'll take place a bit slower. The first few weeks tend to be neural, and that's just kind of your motor cortex kind of working out how to use the motor neurons that it's got to play with. And then it's the peripheral adaptations, the muscular adaptations that then allow you to express more force. So sometimes that takes longer than others, especially as you're pushing past 40. It's not as quick as I would like it to be. So the auto-regulation side for me won't affect the load. It will affect how much volume I do on any given day. So that's kind of trying to simplify that in a bit of a flow chart. So do the test at the beginning, the weightlifting test. So if that comes below the overall peak force for the set is below the mean of all my previous sets, minus 0.2 standard deviations, that's kind of my lower limit threshold. If it's below that, it's automatically default to 5-3-1-3-5. I do the standardized set. Now, what would I be? That would be 5 reps at 85 kilos front squat for me. And is the concentric velocity below the planned range? So if the weightlifting test was okay, and then the first set was like really grinding hard, that automatically then drops me to 5-3-1-3-5. It's all about making sure that I'm on the right volume for that day. Then I can go through it forwards. And still, it's about not getting carried away and let the data do the talking. So then, based on those two first things, then I would adapt the session. Okay, but if the first weightlifting test comes back as being negative, then it's definitely going to be adapted. So let's look at what happened on Monday, and something similar happened today as well. So this week 2 first session on Monday is in bold in here. So the clean mean peak force was below the threshold, so that was automatically going to drop down. Actually, the first set was on par, it's where I wanted to be, and my second set was faster. Actually, it was faster, but the RPE was greater, so it's roughly about 0.5 RPE higher on each of those given sets. So it was actually moving okay, and I should have gone to 2 reps at 115. As you can see there, I'd kind of stayed plateaued at the same velocity as previous weeks. I think I gave that an RP of 9.5, and what that would mean is that I could do maybe a slight amount of more weight, but no more reps. So I might have done 117, maybe 118, Probably not 120. So I could have done a little bit more weight, but not any more repetitions. And that's a really another kind of validating stamp that says, yeah, I made a right volume call for that particular day. So that kind of for me, fits how I train, fits my kind of mindset is like, right, I'm gonna go in and no matter what happens, today, I'm doing 5-3, one of these lows. That's a given. And I feel that's a good balance for me. That's the right amount of load. That's the right amount of repetitions. I feel like I can get better, but I can get through it. It's not going to be bad. Um, and then hopefully, if I accrue enough of those on my bad days, when I do feel good, I do feel recovered, I can then move to the next one. But I'm not going to jump a week. So this week is week 2. It should be 5-3-2-3-5, and next week should be 5-4-3-4-5. So I'm kind of progressive increasing volume, but you don't get to skip steps. So if today I can only do 5-3-1-3-5, and that's been the same all week. Next week I'm gonna keep on with the program. It's a 5-3-2-3-5. You've got to earn the right to go through the gears. So that's kind of how I'm using auto-regulation. That's how it kind of influences my programming, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll manage my kind of soft tissue stuff. It'll manage my fatigue levels and keep on helping me progress.